Durack.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. My question is to the Minister for Resources, Energy and Northern Australia. Will the Minister update the House on how re-establishing the ABCC will promote jobs and growth in Australia's vital resources sector, including in my electorate of Durack? Is the Minister aware of any alternatives? Pardon me. Is the Minister aware of any alternatives to this approach?
The Minister for Resources, Energy and Northern Australia.
Thank you, Mr Speaker, and I thank the member for Durack for her question, and note that not only did she have the biggest electorate in the country, but also one of the most productive when you consider the state of the resources sector. It was a great pleasure to join the Prime Minister last week in visiting Durack and the $54 billion US Gorgon facility, and to hold a round table with community and business leaders in Karratha. Now, without the resources and energy sector in Durack, Australia wouldn't be the largest exporter of iron ore in the world and soon to become the largest exporter of LNG in the world. In addition to Gorgon, you have Pluto, you'll soon have Wheatstone, you have also got the Prelude floating LNG facility, the Roy Hill facility, other BHP, Rio and Fortescue assets, as well as Port Hedland, which is the largest bulk exporting port in the world. But I'm asked, are there any alternatives to this approach? And the greatest alternative comes from those opposite, because they're the great threat to the prosperity for the people of Durack. They're actually dancing to the tune of the Union Piper with their position to block the reinstatement of the Australian Building Construction Commission and to block the passage of the Registered Organisations Bill. This is despite the Hayden Royal Commission finding that in 2008 the developer of the Blacktip gas reserves near Darwin paid $1 million to the MUA to keep the peace, that dredging companies in WA made payments to the so-called MUA training funds for, quote, no appreciable benefit to the company other than to have a working relationship with the union, as well as the AWU getting $25,000 from a contractor working on a gas platform as a price to end unlawful picketing. It's no wonder, Mr Speaker, that Cathy Jackson described the Leader of the Opposition, when he decided when he was going to become the Minister for Workplace Relations as Dracula in charge of the Blood Bank. He said of the Leader of the Opposition, he's the international grandmaster in the process of using unions as chess pieces in the ALP factional warfare. But, Mr Speaker, nothing tops what happened in Fremantle in February 2013. The day after Chris Kane, the Secretary of the MUA in WA, addressed the union's militancy conference and said, and told the gathering, laws need to be broken, you're going to get locked up. Then none other than the Leader of the Opposition the next day went and addressed the MUA and said, there's no other place I'd rather be today anywhere in Australia. I mean that with all my heart. I wish we could bottle up a bit of the spirit here and spread it perhaps on the members of the Labor caucus. Mr Speaker, the Leader of the Opposition and his union policies are no good.